Hi, everybody. We're back today with another edition of Howie's Hometown Heroes, where we feature business owners, entrepreneurs, and community members who are doing extraordinary things in their community. Today, we're in Manhattan, Manhattan of all places. Bazillion people living in Manhattan. And who are we talking to? The number one guy in Manhattan, Hugh Zaretzky. Hugh has an unbelievable background in real estate. But before that, a fun fact, an interesting story about him. He was in IT doing computer stuff. Definitely smart guy, knows what's going on. That was his career until 9/11. Then not only did our world change, his world changed also. Jumped into real estate, and now he's in places that he would have never been, not for 9/11. So go figure, right? Right? He now travels around the world. He has he's a real estate investor, coach, and trainer. He's trained over 10,000 people who they themselves have made bazillions of dollars in real estate. So you is an unbelievable guy. I've known him for a couple of years and doing really great things. So thanks for being here today, you.
No problem. Thanks for having me, Howie.
Yeah, this is gonna be a lot of fun. So tell us a fun fact about some of your travels I heard about.
All right. So one of the fun facts that I always like to tell people is when I first got certified as a scuba diver, I decided I should go dive the Barrier Reef. I was going down there at that time when I was still in IT. My boss got transferred down there. He was bored and said, "Hey, come to Australia and come visit me, and we'll have a work trip / stay." So
Yeah, sounds great to me.
Yeah, it was winter in New York. It's summer there. Like,
Yeah,
hey, why not, right?
yeah.
And so I was like, if I'm going all the way there, I might as well dive the Great Barrier Reef. So I went down there, and right after my first did my certifications, everything was done, went out on my first dive, and I ran out of oxygen about 40 feet under the water.
Oh my God.
All had to do with ego, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And training in New York City being wintertime, I was diving in, 3 millimeter suits, which were really thick. But in Australia, it was summertime, and everybody was wearing a shorty suit, which is only means, for those of you guys that don't know, comes down like arms and
Uh-huh.
short, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I was sweating and off gassing so fast, but I didn't want to ruin the dive for everybody else. So I didn't tell them, at the safety spots, like halfway, 3/4 way, almost out of air, until somebody finally said they were halfway there. And then I had to show the dive instructor who had just certified me. This is my very first dive. And don't be scared by this, because I really don't have that many side effects. No, just joking. No side effects. Because the dive master was prepared. And when I ran out of oxygen and I showed him the thing and he knew we wouldn't get back up to the surface in time, he just gave me his extra oxygen
Uh,
underwater. So it was a happy ending. I got to see amazing fish, like craziness, ruined me for all my other dives. But
oh,
there's a fun fact. I ran out of oxygen underwater and don't have any damage from
and
it.
didn't die. And didn't
I
die.
didn't die.
Didn't
We're
die.
here.
Wow, that's pretty
2 years
good.
later.
So very good. So the lesson is, first of all, pay attention to what's going on, but also dive with somebody who knows what's going on. I'm clear. You're not the first one this has happened to, I'm sure.
Oh no, they were all set up for it. But
Yeah.
it also talks about having somebody that's more experienced in the field that
Ah,
you're going
yep.
to have them there to support you on that, because
Right.
we don't know what we don't know.
I
I
don't know.
didn't know I was supposed to have a different wetsuit. Nobody really told me that. They could have
Oh,
told me that beforehand, but they didn't. And because he was there more experienced, nothing happened. But
yeah.
if I was there by myself, something bad could have
Something
happened.
good or bad could happen. Exactly right. Exactly right. So I mean, that's a good lesson, not only for scuba diving, for just about anything else. Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to do something new, have somebody who knows what they're doing, has been through the ropes to train you and follow along and give you that kind of coaching and guidance, kind of like what you've been doing with real estate.
Well, that's why I always said, like, I learned from other people. We cut our learning curve. I played sports my whole life, so I almost made the Olympic team in '92, in a sport
Oh,
most Americans don't know. And being that way, I had to learn from coaches, mentors, and quickly pick up the game. And you can learn so much faster by having coaches, mentors. And I'm
mm,
really good at, when somebody tells me something to do, I just go do it.
do it.
And it's like, take the action. And so you see up here, it says consistent daily action leads to success.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Success, skill, and it beats skill every day is if we're constantly taking the action. Because I'm not the tallest guy, even though I might appear it on TV. I'm not the smartest guy, but I was able to have such success in different areas because coaches told me what to do, and I did it, and
And
I
he
didn't
did it.
question.
There you
The
go.
biggest
Don't argue.
the biggest issue I see with a lot of people is you tell them to go do something and they want to question it, but they don't understand that by doing the action, they'll actually get the answer and then they'll have a better question.
Better. They'll be able to move forward much better. Much better.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I got to ask, so what was the Olympic sport that you almost qualified for?
It's a sport called European team handball, and it is
Handball.
it is not handball against the wall. It is
Yeah.
not handball against the wall. It's a sport that European soccer players play in the winter, and it's a really big sport. It's probably the top 5 sports in all of Europe, where you
Wow.
bounce the
Who
ball
knew?
like in basketball.
Oh,
You throw it into a soccer goal, and you're allowed to tackle people like water polo.
oh my
It's like water polo on land.
on land. Oh, with no pads. I mean,
No
like
pads,
no pad.
no pads. You get to throw people to the ground, and as long as you help them back up, it's not a 2-minute penalty. It's a really cool, fast sport. Women play it all the time as well. It's a really big Olympic sport. It's been there since 1932.
Wow, who knew? I never saw that on TV. I mean, like, holy, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, we'll have to follow that a little bit longer. So there's another fun fact. That's really kind of cool. So tell us a little bit about the real estate stuff. So you moved from, IT to doing real estate. So
Right.
what was the reason for going into real estate in the first place? Besides losing your job, but what was the
So I didn't
move there instead of anything else?
Yeah. So full disclosure, at that time, I was director of technology for a company called Getty Images. Most people have heard of them. They're eventually sold for $1 billion. Any of the sports photos, paparazzi photos, marketing photos that
Oh,
you guys
yeah.
a lot of them get bought from Getty Images. And my
Yep.
job was to get a photo in from anywhere in the world, whether it was the war at that time in Iraq, not in the Ukraine, but in Iraq, or the Olympics or Major League Baseball, to get them in and out to all the major newspapers. So on 9/11, when both planes flew directly past our window, and I was, for me, it was super lucky it was a Tuesday, not for other people, but for me, because my team had already come through the Twin Towers that morning. Then we were a few blocks away, and I ended up taking some of the first pictures that went out to the scene to every major newspaper, because the only camera we had back in 2001 was in the IT department. Everything else was analog. You had to develop the film and all of that.
Oh, interesting.
I won't go through that story today, and for all of our military veterans, first responders out there, I want to say thank you guys very much.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
the things you do, and all the people that kept us safe during COVID, our doctors, nurses, all the way down to the janitors. Thank you guys, because you guys saw things way worse than I did.
Yeah, for sure.
But on that day, we processed the photos of 13 people jumping off the roof.
Oh my God.
You got a choice of jump or burn. And the only difference between me and the people in that building, I realized, and not that day, right? It took some time to process. I did crazy stuff that day that nobody should do for their job, but I did crazy stuff that day. And I realized the only difference between me and them is my company signed a lease on a smaller building. Otherwise, that could have been me. Do I want to end up stuck behind a desk? So I didn't know what I wanted to do. And most people don't know what they want to do. They sort of hit a certain level in life thinking that's going to make them happy. And then realizing it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I'm sure it happened to you, Howie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you were like, all right, I need to make a change, but sometimes we're stuck financially. Sometimes we're stuck different ways. So I'm actually coming out with a book in October about the launch button, about launching out of the corporate job into your passion or into helping other people. But, and it's called The Launch Button. You go to launchbuttonbook.com, you can see it there. But with that being said, I just started playing around with real estate after I went to a wedding in North Carolina. And I was like, there was something there that caught my attention. And I was like, you can make money doing this. And, North Carolina prices compared to New York City prices.
Yeah, sure.
Slightly different. It was like $60,000 for like a condo versus $50,000 at that time. Now it's,
millions now.
Right. Now it's caught up. And I started doing it. And then I took a course, a boot camp, to learn how to become a public speaker and actually raise capital. Like, hey, I spoken to Wall Street, I'd spoken to analysts, but never said, give me $1 million, right? I was like, here's a data center we need to build, and here's why, right? Give us the $10 million. And out of that course, they're like, hey, do you want to train investors around the country? And I was like, you could get paid to do that? And they were like, yeah, we want to test you out. You seem to know how to do presentations and all these things. And I was like, all right. And so I did that. I worked my IT job for 9 months, and I did the training on the side on the weekends. And after 9 months, I was making more money on the weekends than
Whoa, there you go.
my job. So it was time to leave.
That's great.
And that was back in 2004, 2005. So it's been like 17 years.
Yeah. Awesome.
Having fun.
That's a great, yeah. I mean, it's a great story. So you never know. I guess the point, right? You go down one path, and you could, it could suck after a while. You say, I just don't want to do this anymore. But or you get some epiphany moment like 9/11 that drags you in it and pushes you in another direction. Take advantage of that. And I think the lesson there is, what you said before about the scuba diving. Listen to what people who know what they're doing tell you to do and do it. Right.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I think too many people, sorry to cut you off, too many people go down a path of this is what society wants me to do, or this is what my
oh,
parents
yeah.
want me to do. This is, I'm supposed to do these things. And then they get there and they're like, crap, it doesn't make me happy.
Yep. Exactly. So that's good. And that's that we talk about that head trash that people have and limiting beliefs and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Keep open minded. Yep. I was just talking to a woman earlier today on another Zoom call. Same thing. So, anyways, so let's say, so now that was what, 2004, 5, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Now we're today. So what was that transformation? What have you learned in those bunch of years and since then?
There's lots of things I've learned. Hence the book, right? I was like,
yeah.
We can create a blueprint. I feel we can create a blueprint that people can answer some questions, sort of lay out that plan. Because if I go back, I'd want to redo things all over again. There's some stuff that you do, Howie, with like life insurance and some of the other things that I wish I knew before I left my corporate job. Right? There's some of those things. So I was like, you know what? Let me take all those things. And look, everybody starts somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And wherever you happen to be today, whoever's watching this amazing broadcast by Howie put on here on his channel. So check it out. Whoever, you're watching it going, could I do that? And the answer is 100% yes.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And we all started somewhere. So it doesn't matter. And, we always say there's an analogy out there. The best time to plant a tree is when?
Yesterday.
Years ago. Right? 20 years ago, because it would be providing me shade today in this, hot, sunny weather we have here in New York versus, if not, the next best day is today.
Yep.
Plant your seed, take the action. So congratulations on being here and watching this, but the action you need to take now is to follow that.
And move forward.
That's a big thing that I talk to people about. Like, hey, okay, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, great, but here's today. We start today and we move forward, and that's one of the biggest things that I think most people don't do. So in the book, I just took like 20, 17, 18 years of knowledge and put it in there and be like, these are all the things to do before you fire your boss. I actually go through the process. We call it the launch button. Like the easy button, is sort of hit it, launch out of your job, and you've got everything lined up, including insurance, including these things. Like, these are the questions that I wish I knew before I left. Because what most people don't understand, especially in real estate in today's world, is when you leave your corporate job and become an entrepreneur, and I'm sure you've experienced this, Howie.
Yep.
Is that you no longer have the W-2, so you're not as bankable to banks. And a lot of people don't think about that. They're like, oh, I had a good job. I had good income. The banks will lend me money to buy more property or more stock or start my own business. Well, as soon as you leave, they're like, hey, can we get your, last 2 pay stubs?
Yeah.
You're like,
not anymore.
Then you got to have like 2 years of tax returns.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things, is to set yourself up and take the time to do that before you fire your boss and leave your job and pursue your passion.
And that's the blueprint. You're right. In the book, that's kind of the blueprint of following the path and following what you has already done. Don't just do it. You should do it.
And that's what we've been doing. I've got a book over here with some of my $100,000 students. I was in the book with Les Brown and Jack Canfield. I always joke about that book. I think that was back in 2004, 2005, just as I was firing my boss, that Les Brown is on the back cover of the book. Everybody knows who Les Brown is today. In 2004, 2005, nobody knew who he was.
Nobody knew him. Interesting.
It's just like me on the back cover, right? So we start somewhere and we move forward with it. But yeah, it's just.
That's great. That's great. So do you have some success stories from? I mean, you're your own success story, but maybe some of the people you trained and some of the things that they've done. Yeah.
So it's it's amazing the ripple effect we can have on people. Right. We just ran a boot camp down in Florida, and some of the people there are now sharing that experience with other people. And I get text messages, I get emails all the time, everything from, people going out there. We do a lot of short-term Airbnb properties. So that's a big trend out there. So we got a lot of people invested in those, and, they're able to make 4 to 10 times their normal rent. Right. Because they're doing it on the Airbnb short-term rental, on that, being able to do that. We've got students that are doing land development. So my students do every area. We don't pigeonhole them into one area.
Oh,
You'll say some people are like, I do wholesale and do this. But I think there's a combination. And my big belief is having the entrepreneur business and the real estate go
mm,
hand in hand. So you want to have a business and real estate. Real estate gives you that passive income when typically businesses are down, real estate's up, and vice versa.
oh, okay.
That'll give you the balance, and you have the passive income from both. Then you can do what you want and fire your boss.
Mhm.
So, and launch out of your corporate job or launch out of your life, right? Because some people get stuck there financially. But
Yeah.
as far as students, I could rattle off a whole list. So, we've got my oldest student is 80. She just turned 85 years old.
Wow, that's
And she did her first fix and flip when she was 79 or 80.
wow. So yeah,
Right. Like,
you
and
think
then
you're too old to do something? That's
yeah,
crap.
right.
Yeah.
And she's she writes books, she does all these things. And then our youngest student, of course, is 18 because we technically, you got to be able to sign the paperwork to
Paperwork, yeah.
do all those things. So we've had 18-year-olds go out there and do it. Uh, Going back a few years, I had a 22-year-old and a 23-year-old, and they, one was a high school dropout, was getting in a lot of trouble, and turned around and now make 6 figures a year in real estate, right?
Wow.
So it doesn't matter your background, and in your business too,
Yeah.
right? It doesn't matter your background. It doesn't matter where you come from, right? We start here today. You get a fresh start.
Mhm.
So he was in a little bit of trouble growing up, and yeah, he made it happen, and now he's enjoying the life. Passive
Nice.
income, gets to work from home. He even fired his mom's boss, his dad's boss.
Ah,
He's doing it. And then we've got doctors, lawyers, and engineers, right, that feel they don't have time, but we allow them to invest with us so they get the passive income.
oh, okay. They don't actually have to do the work. They provide some seed money, and then you do the work, and they
Yeah.
get the benefits from that too.
Yep.
Nice. So
Until they can eventually take it over.
oh, there you go. Well, that's pretty cool. So you got a lot of different ways for people to make for you to teach people how to make money for themselves, and that's and there you go. So that's good.
Yeah. And the great thing is, for me, the reason I do it, because everybody's like, well, you've done it. Why do you keep teaching people? I was like, I come from 3 generations of teachers. My grandfather was a teacher. Both my parents were teachers.
Oh,
My sister's a teacher. And they wanted us to be teachers, but I watched my family struggle financially growing up. We called my dad the coupon king, right? Because everywhere we went, we had to have a coupon.
too fun to go. Yeah.
It was pre-internet. Yeah, it's pre-internet, right? You had to have a coupon. You had to get the discount,
Yeah.
all of those things. And so I went into the corporate world, and so did my brother. So my sister's the teacher. Me and my brother both went in the corporate world. But I realized my parents didn't have the financial freedom, but they had time freedom, right? They had the summers
Oh, because
off.
the summer's off. Yeah.
They had all of that. Now, granted, teachers should be paid way more, so we won't get into that debate today. But with me in the corporate world, I was making more money than them, but I didn't have the
Didn't have
time.
any time.
My cell phone would go off. I was on call 24/7. So, what I love about what we do as entrepreneurs and real estate investors and business owners like yourself, how you can set your own schedule.
Yeah.
You do what you want when you want, and you have both, but it takes work,
Mhm.
right? And that's
Yeah.
why you're running these meetings
That's
with
why we're doing these things. Exactly. Exactly right. Well, that is pretty awesome. So where do you see yourself going in the training, coaching, all that kind of stuff? Where do you see that going in the next 3, 5, 10 years or so?
Yeah. So with the book coming out, we're looking to go out there and, create 10,000 people that made $100,000 a year part-time. That's the ultimate goal.
Hmm.
And eventually affect, I heard the stat one time when I was at another event. It's like if 10 people go out there and affect 1.6 million, because if you affect, let's say 10,000 people, they all go out and affect, 2 people each, like it just spirals.
Oh, yeah.
We can reach all the way to that. And so the ultimate goal is 1.6 million people understand the process. And by taking control of things, they will actually help other people. Because what I love about people, but something I learned later in life than I should have, is that we need to help ourselves first financially, and then we can help other people. Too many people are like, oh, I'm just doing it to help other people. And then they get down the road and now they're mad, angry at themselves, at other people. They're like, I spent all this time helping people and I didn't help myself.
Yep.
So I think both the Torah and in Christianity, like the Bible says, you got to help yourself first, and then you can help other people.
It's just like, yep. The analogy, we talk about that too. We talk about the oxygen mask in the airplane, right? Put it on yourself first, then help the person next to you. Right? So
Yeah.
all the same stuff, So that's great. That's really inspiring kind of story. I'm looking forward to to reading the book someday, and hopefully I can get an autographed copy from you.
Yeah, we'll hook you
I'll
up.
see
We'll
you.
hook you up.
I'll
We'll hook
see
you
you
up
there
for launch
sometime.
day. We're gonna do a big launch starting in September.
Yeah.
Pre-launch into it to get that launch date out there, so we can help people, fire their boss,
Cool.
use whatever vehicle, whether it's the products that you use,
Yeah.
to be able to lay out that plan for them to use any tool, any business, any real estate that they want, combine it together to give them their plan, because everybody's different.
Yeah, there you go. Very good, very good. Well, it was great having you here today. I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff with you. And just out there, if you know someone who we could feature here on Howie's Hometown Heroes, put their name in the chat. Contact me. We'll get people on the show. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of fun. So just remember, whether it's your business, or your family, or your community members, it's money that makes those gears keep turning. So make sure your money is working the most efficient way it can. So thanks for being here, Hugh.
Awesome. Thank you, Howie, for having me, and get plugged in on his channel.
There you go. See you soon.
Bye.